Do you only hit your arms once a week with an intensity so freaking hard that you literally can't scratch your ass the next day? I think you're doing it wrong. Arm training shouldn't be a dedicated day that takes your arms so far past failure that your arms are literally incapacitated for a week. In this video, we're going to go through the anatomy of both the bicep and the tricep, the best exercise to target all the heads of the arm, and what your training should look like when you're trying to prioritize arm growth. So make sure you stick around because you're going to learn a thing or two about growing your arms. So let's talk about the biceps. So we have three parts of the bicep: the bicep brachii, the brachialis, and the coracobrachialis. Let's start with the first one. This iconic muscle obviously has two heads: a long head, which originates at the scapula, which is your shoulder blade, and assists with shoulder flexion. And then you've got the short head, which originates on the coracoid process, which is also known as the shoulder bone, and is responsible for elbow flexion and supination, which is basically forearm rotation. This muscle gives you that little peak on top of your bicep. The brachialis, this deeper muscle lies under the biceps and primarily flexes the elbow. And then you've also got your coracobrachialis, another deep muscle that assists with shoulder flexion. Now we're going to go into the back of the arm, the triceps brachii, or the triceps. This three-headed muscle forms the horseshoe shape on the back of your upper arm. We've got the long head, which attaches highest on the scap, your shoulder blade, and helps with shoulder extension. The lateral head, located on the outside of the arm shaft, extends the elbow. And then you've got the medial head, which lies under the lateral head and also extends the elbow. So let's get into the best exercises that we can utilize for arm growth. Let's do it. Let's start off with the biceps. A close grip supinated lat pull down. It's a compound exercise effectively targeting both bicep heads. In this exercise, we're going to keep our hands nice and close. We're going to squeeze our biceps really tight at the bottom of the rep and have an emphasis on no leaning back at the bottom of the movement. The second exercise is an incline dumbbell curl. This incline dumbbell curl allows for greater range of motion and can be done with variations to emphasize different regions of the bicep. We're going to set the bench up at about 65 degrees and we're going to focus on the stretch and the squeeze of this movement because this is one of those movements where you're going to get the most stretch. Thirdly, we have a cable bicep curl. This cable bicep curl is effective at isolating the bicep and taking the muscle closer to failure in a safer manner. Our hand placement is about shoulder width apart. We have a slight lean back when we're performing the movement. We need to focus on a huge stretch at the bottom and a really big contraction at the top. Now, let's move on to the triceps. Now, going into a close grip bench press, a compound exercise that works the triceps alongside the chest muscles. In this movement, we're going to make sure that our hand placement is slightly closer than shoulder width apart. Our elbows come in nice and close beside the body, and we make sure that we get a full range of motion, stretching and getting that bar to touch our chest. We're going to go into a overhead tricep extension. This movement targets all three tricep heads with variations using dumbbells, barbells, or cables. In this exercise, we're going to use the cable tricep extension as our variant and making sure that we're sitting up nice and straight, getting a really, really big stretch on our tricep and making sure that our forearm touches our bicep. Shortening that distance between the bicep and the forearm is going to give you the most stretch possible in the tricep. One of the other best exercises that we can do here is a cable tricep pushdown. A cable tricep pushdown is really effective at isolating the tricep and taking the muscle as close to failure as we can in a really safe manner. Making sure that our hands are about shoulder width apart. We focus on the top part of the stretch. So as I said last time, getting that forearm to basically touch the bicep and then making sure that we're getting those arms as straight as we physically can at the bottom of the rep. So when it comes to muscle hypertrophy, we need to focus on these common principles that relate to getting you huge. Sets and reps. We need to focus on 3 to 6 sets at around 6 to 12 repetitions per exercise. This is mainly common for when we're doing our compound movements, like the close grip lat pull down or the close grip bench press. When it comes to doing our isolation movements, we can usually use a range between 8 and 15. Both of these rep ranges, when used for either compound or isolation movements, promote the greatest hypertrophy within your particular muscle. Number 2 is intensity. Use a weight that challenges you for those targeted reps. You should make sure that you reach failure or close to with each set that you do. Make sure that you have a spotter when you're doing your compound movement like the close grip bench press, but if you've got a spotter, they'll most likely push you a little bit further than failure. Number 3 is frequency. Make sure that you train your arms 2 to 3 times per week, allowing sufficient rest in between workouts, which ensures that you are getting enough recovery and making sure that you're able to hit your arms again with a relatively high intensity when you're coming back to your next workout. Number 4 is progressive overload. Gradually increasing the weight, sets, or reps over time is a good way to keep your muscles growing and to challenge your muscles every single workout. Now here's number 5, which is actually a bonus tip that not many people really think about when it comes to programming for muscle growth. Number 5 is exercise selection. So prioritize your arm movements at the beginning of a workout so that your biceps and your triceps are fatigued going into your other exercises. This is going to allow you to stimulate your biceps and triceps first, fatigue them really, really hard, and hopefully make them grow a lot more. Now remember, proper form is crucial to avoid injury and maximize muscle activation. Include exercises for both the biceps and the triceps so that one doesn't grow faster than the other. Obviously, don't neglect the forearm muscles too. Unless you're a dude, then neglect your forearm muscles, you grub bag. You can do things like wrist curls or reverse curls for a well-rounded forearm. Make sure you're obviously eating enough protein, getting in those calories to build the muscles, and make sure that you actually do a warm-up before you get into the gym. Too many people that I know, feel like I'm looking straight at you, I reckon you do. Too many people don't warm up. Make sure you warm up. You will feel much better, you'll be able to lift more. And prioritize sleep. If you don't sleep, you won't grow. Simple. Now guys, so that is it for how to grow your arms and make them massive. Make sure that if you liked this video and it has given you enough information to take on board and utilize in your own programming, then give it a like. Did I say programming? Programming? One of the two. Give the video a like. Make sure you comment, I have gigantic biceps, or my biceps are bigger than Hangry Jack's. Then that's a sweet little dig that he's gonna fucking hate. You comment in the comment section that'll be funny. Make sure that if you've been following me for a little while, make sure you go and follow the Instagram page. You go and follow the Twitch page, because I do a lot of live streaming on there, which is sick. Do a lot of live streaming, talk about this fitness stuff. We get a lot of ideas from you to be able to create these videos. And that's where we get the most content, and we're building a really great community over there, which is fantastic. So if you love that, go and check it out. If not, do the like, subscribe thing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.